Good morning and welcome to Work for Equity class. So, good morning, class. All right, welcome. All right, what is Work for Equity on page 6 in your mag? Well, it's really nothing more than, instead of buying a house and renovating it and then putting a lease option tenant in it, we buy the house and we don't renovate it and we put a lease option tenant in it. But the lease option tenant is in it specifically for the purpose of doing the work, preferably with their hands and their money, or their friends' hands or relatives' hands and their money. And in exchange for them doing the work, they get a discounted price off of what would be perceived as retail value after repaired. So Work for Equity is, I'll give you some equity if you do the work with your hands and your money. It's that simple. And there's a whole subculture of people out there that are thrilled to do that. And of course, the ideal thing for you to do is to build that list, which is a separate buyer's list, perhaps, than the list that can qualify for a loan. And there's pluses and minuses of this Work for Equity, which we're getting to. Well, who are the best candidates for this Work for Equity program? So again, it is not for every house you do. You are probably going to want to renovate a few along the way and cash out of them, and I'm okay with that. You are probably going to want to wholesale a few, and I'm okay with that, because that's nice, sweet, instant cash flow. But if you get your head around this Work for Equity thing, you're probably going to have to gag to wholesale a house. Because if you wholesale a house, you are giving away a lot of money. And your perception is that you're giving away a lot of money so that you can get some money now. However, you're going to see, you can get more money now with Work for Equity, and then have some more to get later than you can get even with a wholesale deal now. If you can wholesale a house, my friends, then you can buy the property using private funding and bring home cash the day you buy it and still have the equity and the property to produce cash monthly and later, instead of killing the golden goose and wholesaling it and be done with it. Now look, I can make a case for both. As you know, I teach both. And a lot of people out there are wholesaling houses today. It's kind of become the thing in the real estate. A lot of my students have turned into teachers and are training students who are turning into teachers who are teaching wholesaling because it's so pathetically simple a moron could do it. And it is true. An idiot can wholesale a house. I can name a few right now. You don't need much intelligence to wholesale a house. Anybody can do it. It's not hard. It does take a little training, and it's quick, but it is also killing the golden goose that continually lays the eggs. Now, I'm not here to make a case for buying properties or holding properties today, but frankly, Work for Equity is just a really cool way to hold on to properties for a longer term and let them keep laying the golden eggs and taking away all of the grief of renovations and repairs as they go. So if you don't agree with me by the time this day is over, your best candidates from a people point of view are the lower-income blue-collar workers. You're not going to be working in mansions. You will not be working in your dream home here with these Work for Equity deals. It's possible you can, but the market is down in the lower-priced properties and in the blue-collar market. And these folks will not have great credit. For example, when people come to you on a Work for Equity program, there is a reason they're willing to do the work, and it's beyond the discount you're giving them. By the way, the marketplace today is trained to know that they can get a discount anytime they want it if they can qualify for a loan, which is the problem with the picky buyers. They know they can pick and choose. I never did like the picky buyers. Picky meaning they got good credit and money. They're my least favorite buyers. They're a pain in the neck. They actually want things their way because they know they can get them their way. They can pick and choose any property in that price range, anywhere in that marketplace, and go qualify for a loan and buy it, and they know in this marketplace of the buyer's market that they get to choose. And believe me, even the lower-end buyers know that. But here comes one now that can't go buy a house anywhere they want it because their credit is not so great, or other problems that keep them from qualifying for a loan, which really doesn't take that much today, does it? In fact, 75% of the people out there that would love to buy a home cannot qualify for a house right now. Well, we can help them qualify. We can create a tremendous public service by helping them qualify, by giving them time to prove themselves, and while they're fixing the house, of course, with their own money and their own labor, while we work to get them qualified, to get them financed on the back end. Nobody's going to do that for them if you don't. Basically, we're becoming their life coach. Along the way, they're going to get trained on credit, as well as create a track record by making their payments on time and showing commitment by doing the work on the house. And believe me, the lender's going to see all of that. And the idea is to take a C- buyer and turn them into a B+ buyer. They're never going to be A's, but B+ is good enough because we can get them financed with B+. If you truly understand the art of residential real estate and you don't violate my rules, and if you buy them without using your money and without using your credit, then there hopefully will become a time in your life when your cash flow is good enough to where you really don't care if they cash you out or not. Now, if you don't care if they cash you out or not, ladies and gentlemen, then it takes absolutely 100% of the pressure off for you on the back end. And you get to run your business the way you want because you might not want to put so much pressure on getting cashed out on the back end because you just assume they didn't cash you out on the back end. So you see the two different mindsets here that can prevail. In the beginning, you're going to want every dime you can get in your pocket as fast as you can get it. Am I correct? Who could use more money in their life right now? All right, half of you. I guess the other half have got plenty. Let me say that again. Who could use more money coming in right now? All right, good. Who does not need any more money? Who's got all the money they need? Oh crap, no hands. Let's see, half of you can't use more money, and none of you don't have all the money you need. Who's not going to raise your hand no matter what I ask today? 4 of you. All right. So I'm looking for bottom end, probably weak, and maybe even atrocious credit. And I'm going to let our credit expert define atrocious for you. And if there's some people we can't fix, we ought to find out today. Okay, buyers with stable jobs and income. Now this is kind of cool and important because we can't help somebody if they don't have income. There's no way we can lease it to them. There's no way we'll finance it. And there's no way we can get them refinanced. So we're looking for people with income, preferably stable income, which means they had to have been on the job at least a week, or the longer they've been on the job, the more stable income, the better candidates they are for us to help clean up their credit, assuming that they can take on responsibility and prove to you that they can get the work done. Buyers with some money. I cannot help people that are penniless, and neither can you, because nobody is going to get in my house without a dime out of their pocket under any circumstances, no exceptions, period, case closed. So if they can't come up with some money, they're not a candidate. Now, as people come to you, will the majority have money or not have money? They will not have money. So let's make this perfectly clear. We are not after the majority, we're after the minority, having nothing to do with race or color, having to do with math. Most of the people who come to you for Work for Equity deals are going to be broke. So get over it. And don't whine about it. I don't want to hear about it. You know what? I've been buying houses for 28 years now, and it's been like that ever since the very first day I got in the business. Most people who come at us are broke. They're trying to buy a house, they got no money, and most of them got poor credit. They're just fishing. They're trying to figure out if there's a way they can get into a home. Well, if there's any way they can get in a home, it's what we're here to discuss today. But if they're broke, they got no money, and the credit sucks, they're out of here. Nothing we can do for them. And in fact, when I say money, I'm not talking about $300. They got to be able to put enough money together to let me let them in the house and convince me that they can buy materials if that's the chosen exit strategy. And you'll have no trouble finding people that can scrape together a little money. Well, you'll have to search for them and pick them out of the herd, but they're there. Our buyers are willing to do the work or have it done and can convince you they are capable. If you put somebody in a house and it's obvious they can't even paint a wall, then or don't know who's going to paint the wall, then you're setting them up for failure. They're not a good candidate. And you're going to find that a lot of your candidates are already in some kind of a service business where they're doing the stuff that they're going to be doing when they get in your house. It is very common to sell these to contractors, air conditioning mechanics, and roofers, and people who are already doing part of that job themselves. And most of these people know people to do the rest of the job that they can't do. So it's not difficult to find these folks. I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier to find these folks than it is to find those people who can qualify for a loan and put up a down payment. Way easier. So we got a massive herd to cater to. Now, what do the houses look like? Ryan, what am I doing here? Oh, cool. I actually made an electronic gadget work. Okay, now look, I'm showing you a picture of a house that I own right here that I bought at an auction. Now, that's kind of what these houses look like. And once you've seen one, they all look alike. I've done about 2,000 of these houses. And frankly, they're boring. They're boxes. They're usually 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses. Some of them are 4-bedroom, 2 baths. Some of them are bath and a half, sometimes even 1 bath. I don't like 2 bedrooms. I much rather have 3 bedrooms, but we do 2 bedrooms as well. In fact, I'll show you a couple more in a minute. But they're all boxes. Now, if you live, this is a house that's in the south. If you live in the north, they're probably 2-story frame boxes. If you live in Canada, they're probably 2-story frame boxes. But they're just boxes. They're going to run well box to me. Okay. There was a time in my life when this was my dream home. My dreams were, kind of low. And if this is your dream home, we got to work on your dreams. That's all I can say. This is nobody's dream home. However, for first-time home buyers, maybe last-time home buyers, and some middle buyers, this is their dream home because they're coming from an apartment moving into a home. And any home is your dream home when you're living in an apartment. So it's low-end housing, but it's not housing in war zones. It's not housing where it's dangerous. It's not housing where people are afraid for their life and need a gun to survive. It's not housing where you don't want to turn your kids out in your front yard at night. It's housing that looks like that housing, but it's not in that particular pocket of your city. You will all be able to identify your war zones. And in Canada, you don't need to worry about it. You don't have war zones. What you have up there is free health insurance, which we're about to have down here, it looks like, if there is any such thing. All right, this is a house I bought at an auction. It's worth about 120. R means after repaired value. And we paid $42,500 for it. I don't get hung up on those numbers. If you live in San Francisco where Bob here lives, you probably aren't buying it for $42,500. It'll probably cost you $3,000 where he lives. However, Bob's telling me he's got houses all over San Francisco area now that you can get for less than $200,000. They used to be worth $500,000 or $600,000, right, Bob? Well, you know what? That's common in the United States of America. What we can buy today used to be worth a lot more, residential and commercial. In Canada, you won't be buying a house for $42,500. However, you probably, depending on where you live in Canada, all you need to do is maybe add 1 in front of it. And in fact, if you add 1 in front of the purchase price, you should add 1 in front of the profit check as well. In fact, I prefer that I were in a higher price product. But it works as long as you stay down on the low end. This particular house, we did renovate it, and it's listed for $99,500 renovated. But we didn't have to renovate it. We could have sold it on work for equity. There's one we did sell. That's the one we sold and closed on here just a few days ago. My personal assistant, Tish, took control of this one and sold it, and I split the profit with her. It was worth actually appraised for $115,000. We thought it was worth $120,000 when we bought it. Appraiser knocked it down a little. We sold it for $98,500 in excellent condition, gorgeous to a qualified buyer, and cashed out of it. And we're bringing back that here a little bit because it cost us $13,000 in cost to sell that house. Now you write that down, incidentally. We sold for $98,500. It cost us meaning me, $13,000 by the time I paid the closing costs for the buyer for bond money. I did have a realtor involved. Realtor sold that house. So yeah, okay, that was $50,000 of the $13,000. But it still took $13,000 away. Now, of course, when you're paying $42,500 for them, you got nothing to bitch about, do you? There was still $30,000 net profit left over, so I'm not going to whine about it. But when it comes to comparing math, we do need to understand that buying a house and rehabbing and selling it retail is going to cost you a lot more money in closing costs than anything we're going to do here today. There's one that we also renovated, partnered with another of my staff on that one, and it's out there on the market right now, listed for $99,500. There's a townhouse. Townhouses as well. Bought that right out of the MLS for $55,000, worth about $125,000. And here's a little 2-bedroom box we bought at an auction for $17,500. And I did renovate this one just for the fun of it. With all new stuff on it, all new siding, all new kitchen, carpet, all new windows. I'm talking windows, not just glass. Decorated it, all that stuff. $15,000 all in for that little 1,000 square foot 2-bedroom house. Only worth $79,000. Actually appraised for $71,000. I think it's worth $79,000. We're going to find out pretty soon. Okay, but I renovated it. Actually, I probably shouldn't have renovated it. Probably should have just done work for equity on it. Here's one we are doing work for equity on. Paid $32,500 for it. It's worth about $90,000 actually, and that's probably a good example of one I will sell on work for equity. And I'll probably put a tenant buyer in that property somewhere around the $75,000 mark, as is where it is. So if I paid $32,500 for it, I put somebody in it for $75,000. Do you need to have a spreadsheet to know it'll probably work out okay? We'll see how in a minute. Here's one we just closed on. Bought it at an auction. Look, isn't that gorgeous? Yep. Piece of crap. It's a 2-bedroom and 1-bath box. My wife's got a craft shop bigger than that house. We were only paid $20,000 for it all in. It's worth in the 80s, and it's in a good neighborhood, which is important to me. It's in a good little solid neighborhood, and I'm going to do work for equity on that house most likely. Actually, Yvonne and I own that house, don't we, Yvonne? Right there, stand up, Yvonne. This is Yvonne Beck. She's one of my home buyer society. Take a look at the camera. Look at it. Yeah? All right. Thank you. Have a seat. Yvonne found this. Yeah, this is an auction house, right? Yeah, this is the one we bought at auction. Went to an auction here recently and bought that. She was the one that went out, found it, brought it back, did homework on it, and then she's the one that raised her hand and said, okay, that's hard work buying houses at auction. And you got to raise your hand 6-8 times a night to get them bought. Okay. All right. So that's actually a great work for equity candidate right there. House needs about $10,000-$12,000 worth of work on it. And if you did want to renovate that house, class, can you just picture that house done? I mean, look at it now. Ugly. Blah. But can you picture it? With landscaping out front and some trees and some bushes and maybe an awning and some shutters beside the windows and a driveway. This is a driveway up to the front porch and needs concrete in the front yard. And then these flowers. You know, sorry Canadians, you need artificial flowers. You got at least a month for flowers to grow. All right. So can you picture it finished? It'd be a totally different house, wouldn't it? In fact, I wish I had a picture of that other little house I just showed you that I put all the siding on after. I don't have it with me. But anyway, I don't have any intentions of renovating that house. We're going to probably do exactly what we're learning here today with that house. All right, so that's just some examples of the kind of product that we're talking about here. Everybody got it? Yes. Nobody's dream home, right? Right? All right. So, if you live in a fancy neighborhood, especially one with a gate on it, you got to get out of your neighborhood to go find the product. And this is the kind of product you're getting the best deals on out there, guys, right now. This is the product we're getting the best deals on in the United States. Not the $300,000 houses. Oh, you can buy them cheap. But you can buy a lot. You can buy these for a lot smaller percentage of their after repaired value. Plus, this is the product that most of the buyers are buying right now. The lower end stuff using the financing that the government keeps heaping on them. So, for this part of the business, that's what you're looking for. So if you live in a gated community, you got to get out and drive around. If you're living in a community like that, get out and walk around. And then let's work to get you out of that community. How's that? All right, below median price, not a war zone. And now get this, on work for equity candidates, the less work they need, the better candidate they are. Let me say that again. The less work they need, the better candidate they are. And this is kind of a double-edged sword. Because the less work they need, the harder it is to buy them well below market price. However, if you stay down in this area, in this price range, it becomes a lot easier. If you give me a $300,000 house, I'm going to have a miserable time buying it on these ratios. Because there's too many owner occupants that'll pay a lot more for it. But if you get me down in this bread and butter housing, I'm going to find it easier to buy them with a larger spread. I'm telling you, in today's market all around the country, and in Canada, you just have to adapt to the numbers. I can get just as big a spread between what I'm paying and the value on a $125,000 house as I can on a $300,000 house. So if I can get just as big a spread, then why not get down there where there's more product available and there's more people to buy those products they can afford? Hello? Yeah. Now this is audience participation. And all day long when Guru speaks, audience must speak back or Guru's going home. Right? Okay, and you on the camera, pretend like you're here and shout every once in a while so your family's wondering what you're up to. And by the way, if you're at work today, don't shout. So your boss doesn't know what you're up to. All right, I want these houses to be bought in the United States at 50% of R or less. In Canada, I'll bump that up to about 65% as is. Remember now, they still have to be repaired even if you're not going to repair them. In Canada, I do not want you guys into a house for more than 80% of its after repaired value, assuming you, but that includes the purchase price and the repairs and the cost of holding it. And if you have to pay cash for a house and you're into it for higher than that, don't do it, don't buy it. In Canada, they don't seem to have a recession. Especially in the Alberta region. They are United States in 2005. They're at the top of their market. They're enjoying life, and they actually think it's not going to change. Well, we know better, don't we? But right now, it's hot. See, they can sell them faster than we can sell them, or at least they perceive they can. We can sell them faster. It's just as fast as anybody else. We learn how to do it. But their numbers are different than ours. They're going to have to pay more for the houses, and they're probably going to make less, but there's only on the downside of that is they're gone as fast as they get their hands on in most of the markets up there. So it's all trade-off. All right, 3 or 4 bedroom house, but not too large. Remember, I'm putting somebody in this house to fix it. And if it's a great big monstrosity, it's going to scare most people away, and they're not going to want to do all that much work. So I'm going to stick with smaller houses. On the other hand, not too small. I don't want to touch a house that's less than about 850 square feet. I'm going to tell you I don't like those. You're not going to sell me a house less than 850 square feet. I prefer them between 1,000 and 2,000 square feet, whether they be 1 story or 2 story. And I've done a couple of thousand of them right there in that price range. All right, next page, advantages. The big one, of course, is you don't touch in the house. There are no repairs, which means there are no contractors, which is a huge advantage. How many of you have ever renovated a house? Or had it renovated, I mean. Okay. Now, how many of you are still having houses renovated? Okay, half of you survive. How many of you love having houses renovated? Okay, it is kind of cool making something pretty out of something ugly, isn't it? But is it a pain in the ass? It's a pain in the ass. Actually, renovating is not a pain in the ass. Contractors are a pain in the ass. Yeah. It'd be okay if they just did what they said when they said and finished the job and actually cleaned up after themselves, wouldn't it? Yes. Anybody ever met a contractor that cleans up after themselves? Oh, no. They clean up their way. All right. Then you have to have a cleanup crew go in there and clean up after their cleanup crew. But look, I renovate a lot of houses, probably 600 of them, and yeah, some of them clean up after themselves. And I'm just picking on them because I can, and I got the mic. Right? And it's their turn. But look, for the most part, dealing with the contractors is the hard part of renovating. And even if it isn't, even if you got that nailed and you got a great crew and you got great people and you're trying to keep them at work, come on, let's look at the math part of this thing as we're about to do here in a minute. If nothing else, renovating a house delays the sale and there's no way around it. It takes time to renovate a house, some less, some more, but it still takes time. It's a costly entanglement that's involved in the process. If you can remove that costly entanglement, and the ideal time to sell the house is the same day you buy the house. And you can easily do that, especially after listening to jokes after now. Because you got a whole bunch of buyers lined up. You got 30 days normally to close on it when you buy it, and sometimes more. I don't care where you buy it. Buy it from a FISBO, buy it from an auction, buy it from a bank, buy it from the MLS. You got at least 30 days to close on it. You got 30 days to find your work for equity tenant buyer. And if you do what Joe tells you to do this afternoon, you won't need 30 minutes. You'll have them lined up before you ever get the house to the closing table. So now the only thing left to do is line up the private money and we can help you with that as well. So you can see that your whole machine is going to revolve a lot quicker when you take repairs out of the loop. But here's the best part. Forget the repairs going in. There's no repairs going out or in the middle. I love it when I don't have to be, when I'm not responsible for the repairs. Even when I lease option houses out there in excellent condition, when I put the tenant buyer in there, part of their condition of their option is that they do the repairs. I got 2 properties right here in Jacksonville right now that I've had tenants in for over 12 years. I haven't spent one dime, not a dime, on either one of those properties in 12 years for repairs. Not a dime. Now you figure out how much money that saved me over this period of time. And in addition to the money, the grief. They don't call us when something breaks. They tried a couple of times and we pointed out to them that's their responsibility. Of course, their option expired 11 years ago, but they don't seem to care, or I don't know, but they're responsible for the repairs. And they've been doing all this time. One of them's already paid off the house for me. God bless them. Now, did they have the option to buy? Yes. Could they have bought? Yes. Can they still buy? Yes. If they come to me and they want to buy today, I'll do everything I can to help them buy. But what do you think the chances of these people coming to me today and wanting to buy after 12 years of being a tenant? Yeah, slim to none. Slim to none. So, see, that's a good example of a guy who don't care if they buy or not. Now, both of these properties were in good shape, so they weren't worth for equity, but it doesn't matter. The point is they got tenant buyers in the houses that are responsible for their own repairs. So that's the only way I'm going to lease option a house. If I have to do the repairs, I will not put a tenant buyer in the house. I'm not doing the repairs. I'm not cleaning up somebody else's mess. I'm not cleaning their toilets. I'm not fixing their hot water heaters. I'm not painting their walls that they messed up. I'm not cleaning up after the dogs, and I'm not replacing their carpet. They're going to live in the house. They're going to fix the house. Period. Case closed. I don't want any residential real unit where they're not responsible for their own repairs. And how do you think I got so smart? Yep. An awful lot of tenants in my time, and I don't have believe me, I don't have any problem with tenants, but I like them a lot better when they're doing their own work. So when I sell a house on work for equity, I don't do any work going in. Well, I could. We're going to get to that. I don't do any work during the middle, and I'm not doing any work after the sale. So when that hammer drops and we get cashed out of that house, nobody's calling me to unplug a toilet. Plus fast sale. Are you kidding? I'm getting any faster. We're in and out immediately because we don't have the costly entanglements of the renovations. We make a lot more money, as you're about to see. We pay a lot less taxes. In fact, less than half the taxes. And no costly delays, no contractors, and no need to raise money to fix subject to deals. Because we're going to get to that as well, guys. You see, buying a junker and funding it with